What's going on, guys? A lot of people have been asking me where to go online to actually play Hat format, whether that's competitively in tournaments or just for practice and friendly matches and things like that. So in this video, I want to show you guys how you can go about playing different matches as well as finding different tournaments for Hat format online. Obviously, if you're watching this on my channel, a lot of people know me for showing off different Hat format replays, deck profiles, and different things like that, and people always come to me for information on Hat format in general. So as this, community is growing, I want to make sure you guys can get in on these events. Also, I'm going to talk about, for example, prizing, entry fees, and just all the information you need to know about Hat format and playing online. So you're definitely going to want to stick around till the end of this video to make sure you get all the information you actually need. Anyways, here we are on Dueling Book. Dueling Book is one of the main online, formats for Yu-Gi-Oh! Gameplay that you can actually play, especially for retro formats. And most of the tournaments and things I'm going to show on this video are going to be taking place through Dueling Book. So you're going to want to make sure that you have a Dueling Book account. I'm sure if you guys have been watching any sort of dueling content online, you've probably heard of this site before. And so what you're going to do is first, again, make sure you have an account. Go to duelingbook.com, make an account. Usually right here, there's going to be some information that you fill in. And if you don't have an account, you just click create account or whatever. And then you just need an email and you'll click here and go to Duel. After that, it might take a second to connect. You're going to want to make sure you build the deck and everything, customize your profile how you want it, and then go up here to Duel Room. After that, you'll see all these different squares and stuff here. We see like Duelist Pool, Advanced Unrated, Custom Cards, and Unrated. And what you're going to do is go all the way to the right here and click that slide button, and it's going to take you to another section of these little squares. So where you're going to find Hat format specifically is going to be in this Unlimited Unrated room here. The thing is unlike Edison format, which is a much larger and more like fan popular with people type format, Hat format unfortunately doesn't have its own section. So most of the Hat format gameplay you find is going to be in this Unlimited Unrated category. So what you're going to do is go down here and you're going to go to host a duel. Now, this can be for casual or for tournaments. For example, if you're in a tournament and it is held on this site, what you're going to do is usually just come here to create a game and find your opponent. Or again, you can do just casual games. What you're going to do is go to format and go and find the Unlimited Unrated room, because that is this category right here. Next, what you're going to do is go to type, and you're going to pick the type of game you want to play. There's single with no siding, and 2 out of 3 match. So obviously single with siding is going to be just a single game, but if you choose to, offer a rematch, you can offer that, your opponent accepts, and then it'll take you to the siding screen where you can side in and out cards, and then you'll play out the next game. If you do no siding, obviously it'll skip that siding step, or 2 out of 3 is just going to play out like a normal match with siding in between games and things like that. So usually, if you're just trying to get some practice, you're just going to click 2 out of 3. You don't have to worry about TCG and OCG. What I suggest is, because there are a lot of different formats people can play in this section, go to Duel Note, and I would suggest typing in the format you want to play. So for example, like Hat format right here, and then you don't have to worry about password or anything. A lot of people will click something like Classic, which is just going to show the, classic game board that without the pendulum zones and different things like that, or link zones, extra monster zones, if you want to say that. So you can click Classic. If you don't, it's not really relevant. You're just not going to use it in the game, obviously. And after that, you're going to click Host Duel. From here, you'll see it pops up with your username. It says what type of game you're trying to play and stuff. And as people come in, it'll show the people trying to play the game. You would just click one of their usernames and either accept or reject them. Or if you're not getting anyone, you would just click Cancel Duel, and it will remove your section from here. Also, usually there's like a big group of people here. So if you see like someone else has hat, you would just click it, wait for them to accept you, and you'll go straight into a game. Now, again, how I mentioned, if you're in a tournament or something, you might just, instead of putting like hat format, you might just put the person's username so they know you're looking for them. And obviously they're going to be showing up for hat format in that way in general, but this is just a way so you can play online. So now let's talk about how to actually go and find games and talk about the tournament scene of things. So now I've gone and hopped over onto Discord, and where I would suggest checking out first if you're wanting to play in hat format tournaments is obviously going to be the Hat Alliance Discord server. This server has, as you can see, over 2,600 members that are in this group, and it is completely dedicated to hat format. Even right now, there's over 700 people online at the time of recording this, all people that are trying to talk about hat format, discussions, and different things like that. Hopefully I will remember, and I'll put an invite link in the description of this video so you can just click it and join, and then you can, get straight into your hat format experience and gameplay and stuff. But this is where you're going to want to start out. Now, if we move over to the left-hand side here, there's all these different tabs. There's things dedicated to specific hat format decks, so you can discuss different decks, tech choices, look at people's lists, and just talk about all the different games and stuff. But at the top here, right under Server Guide, you're going to see Events. So if you click this, here you'll see the different events that are happening right now, or if you scroll down a little, you'll see events that are taking place. This is important to pay attention to because it's going to say the date in which they're going on and stuff. For example, right now we have Mortal Attack Monthly 36 going on, as well as the Pleiades Payout 6 going on. April 11th at 3 p.m., we're going to have the Mortal Attack Monthly 37. May 9th, we're going to have Mortal Attack Monthly 38. So there's always events going on. And just because you only see a few here doesn't mean that there's more or like less games going on. There's always events being added to this. And so now let's kind of break down some of these events and things as well. But actually, I think before we even get into that, that's where you find the different events and stuff. There is still, if you scroll down here, there is like a underground rated dueling area where you can play people on Dueling Book and stuff from the server and go and get a rate from them because they kind of track the different ratings if you want to be a little more competitive with it and see the top ranked players in the format. If you go through there, there's also a dueling arena where you can click and try to find people who are trying to play games right now and stuff. So that's also a pretty cool thing you can do. As well as there's announcements here, which if you click on that, they'll give you a bit of a heads up on when the events are starting or when you might be able to, for example, enter some of these events, because you can't actually enter them until they've made the posting saying that, events are open for people to register and stuff. So just keep that in mind. Pay attention to the announcements page for any of the different events, and they do give lots of warnings. They give I think a few days before the event, they give a few hours before it actually starts, making sure to enter and things of those sorts. So that is something to definitely pay attention to. But anyways, getting into the actual events, I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and here we see Tournament. Here, the main three tournaments you're going to find are going to be the H.A.T Elimination, the Mortal Attack Monthly, and the Pleiades Payout. All of these usually happen every single month, and they kind of all revolve around different things. So what I mean by that is H.A.T Elimination is going to be a single elimination tournament. I say single elimination, but I think it's just a single day elimination type tournament. I'm pretty sure it's double elimination, so you kind of have like two lifelines, sort of. So that's kind of cool. It's free to enter, and depending on the amount of people that enter, you're kind of just playing for a potential spot in the Hat Championships that they hold at the end of the year. But it's a pretty cool event. The bigger event is going to be the Mortal Attack Monthly. Again, this is another free event. This one is going to be Swiss rounds. So usually they have anywhere from like 5 to 7 rounds of Swiss. You have 48 hours between rounds to actually play out your matches. So you need to make sure, again, that you're keeping to that schedule and you have planned for that. You have 48 hours to make sure you get your match in. And that one, again, they do Swiss rounds and then they do a top cut depending on the amount of players. And it is free to enter that event as well. That event is also playing for channel membership type reward things, or channel roles as they call it, as well as potential spots in the H.A.T championships at the end of the year. And then the last big tournament that is known is going to be the Pleiades Payout. This one, there is an entry fee to enter. I forget exactly how much it is, but what this one is, which is a little different, is because there is a actual fee to enter this one, the top 4, usually I think it is, are going to split the money that was entered into the event. So this is the event where you can actually get money out of it, or if you get, I believe, first place or whatever, if there's enough players, you can forfeit that money and get your invite to the H.A.T championships at the end of the year. So just keep that in mind. So these are the main 3. Now, there is one other thing to note with this, which is there is one more event that they're starting to pick up on, which if I scroll to the top here and we go to League Discussion, it's going to be under here, and I'm just going to click this little tab here. Oh, I guess they moved it. Maybe it's under Announcements, actually. What they've now added right here is going to be War League. So anyone who knows Edison War League, it's basically a team match, sort of like a 3v3, but it's 5 players, and you're basically 5 versus 5. First 1 to 3 wins, your whole team wins, and then after a while, it's round robin, and then there's going to be like a top 4, and it's just a cool thing. We haven't begun that quite yet, but that is going to be something coming up, so just pay attention for that type of stuff. Again, all the information on how to enter these and stuff is going to be somewhere here in the actual H.A.T Alliance Discord server, either under announcements, you can find information. So for example, here was for the Pleiades Payout. It's going to explain the event. So it says like €5, and it says how the prizing is and different things and all the cool information you need to know based on that. The other thing is, here in the announcements is where they're actually going to show when the tournaments are open for registration. And when you do go to register, you're going to go down to whatever event it might be. So for example, the Pleiades Payout. And what you're going to do is you're going to put in the little registration thing. I'm going to go scroll up a little and hopefully find the beginning of this tournament so you can actually see. So for example, when you go to the message portion right here at the bottom, this little tab, you would put in the command for registering for the tournament. And for example, here it'll say is now registered for whatever event it is, or this person is now registered. And then you'll get a message from this retro bot, which is basically just the server bot. And it'll say, please check your DMs, and you'll send them your deck list for the tournament and stuff. And then boom, you just wait for the tournament to begin. The one thing you do need to keep in mind is there are players playing from all over the world in these events, so make sure you have your time zones figured out so that you don't get messed up. It can be hard to schedule some of these things, but how I mentioned with, say, the Moral Attack Monthly or the Pleiades Payout, you have time to figure that out. The Exciton Elimination is, again, usually a one-day event, so that one you have to be, like, kind of just sit down for the day. But the other ones, you have 48 hours to figure it out. So just make sure you have that, communicate with your opponents and stuff, and it should be very easy. Besides the H.A.T Alliance Discord server, you also have the Format Library Discord server. And here is obviously Format Library is known for all the different types of retro formats and things that you can play, again, on Dueling Book and stuff. And if you look off to the side here, you'll see events. Same thing, you would just go and see whenever there's events. There's something for every different type of format. Here we see There's going to be a Duelist Crown Tournament 15 for hat format that's taking place April 20th at 1:30 p.m. And if you were to like click this, you can get more information on the event and everything like that. And as well, you can go and look off to the side here, see announcements. You can also find the different formats. So for example, right now we are in the hat section. So you can see just people talking about gameplay and stuff. You can see the leaderboards and stuff for the top players right now. And you can find opponents. And this one's kind of more generalized since it is based on just all different formats, whereas the Hat Alliance one is solely based on hat format. So that's why I say go and add yourself to the Hat Alliance Discord server before the format library one, but also check out the format library one simply because there is people playing hat format obviously on there. So, or if you're just interested in other types of formats and stuff, you can kind of see a small list of it here. Definitely go and check that out. But most importantly, you are going to want to make sure that you have a Dueling Book account made because that's where all these formats are going to be taking place, or all these tournaments in general are going to be played through. And if you just want to play casual games, it's a great place to check out as well. But anyways, hopefully this answered all your questions. If you still have any questions or concerns or anything, you can comment those in the comments section. But anyways, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, hit the bell to get notified anytime I put a new video out, share this video with your friends. And anyways, guys, I will see you in the next video.